Jonathan Perry. John Atack said on his podcast that Tony Ortega reported that 2 private investigators were arrested for a rape, but their primary mission was to assassinate Leah Remini. He really didn't elaborate on it other than what I just told you. I'd really like to hear your take on this one. I don't know how Miscavige could be that stupid. If anything happened to her, he would be the first person they would look at. I don't really know the details, but I'd like to hear them from you. All right, Jonathan, thank you for this. This was actually fully reported on Tony Ortega's blog. So really all I'm doing is repeating Tony's reporting here. And I'll put a link to that story in the description here because he gives all the data on this, including showing the text messages and information from the private investigators behind this whole story. And it's not the case that these private investigators were sent out to assassinate Leah Remini or anything like that. And the rape charge is a separate thing. So basically what happened is a private investigator who was tasked with following Leah Remini around in New York with a team of other private investigators. I think these guys were ex-cops. Were texting with one another, coordinating the logistics and communicating on what they were doing while they were following her around. And those text messages came out in court records on a different case. The case had to do with these PIs following a woman who was the wife of a millionaire who I think was a candy maker or something. He was some guy who had a lot of money, was having his wife followed around because he suspected her of infidelity or marital problems. And apparently the wife, during the course of being followed around, these private investigators were charging the rich guy so much money, they were kind of taking advantage of his money. They ended up charging him like $8 million or some ridiculous amount of money for following his wife around for all this time. He didn't like that. But also, during the course of this, the wife reported that these guys had contacted her, these private investigators, one or two of these private investigators had contacted her and had sexually assaulted her and had blackmailed her into that. And they said that didn't happen. That's not what's going on. But that's what she said. And so there's filings and counter filings going on with that. And in the course of processing and dealing with that case and those sexual assault allegations, these text messages came to light from this other case these guys were working on. So these were 2 different matters. And you can see all the text messages and see all of this broken down by Tony on his blog and in a report he did for the Daily Beast. So they said in one of the text messages something about, oh, isn't this Leah? Why are we following her? And it was like, oh, Scientology. And it was like, oh, don't they want her dead? And it was just a random sort of comment made in a text. It wasn't, we're killing her, we're going to kill her, we're tasked with killing her. Nothing like that, okay? It would be, well, let's just say if Scientology were to task somebody with killing someone, and I don't think that they have any intention of doing that right now, but if they did, they would not hire these guys and have them texting about it with one another. It would not be, they wouldn't be that sloppy about it, I'm pretty sure. But even if they were, that's not the case here, okay? So that's what I can do to clarify that for you and sort of explain the context of the situation. It was a little complicated, and unless you really dug in and read through all the details, there were a lot of moving parts, and it seems a little weird. And so I understand why John or anybody could have misconstrued what the reporting said or what was going on. It's not a big deal. It's just it's not quite how it was presented there.